Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the beginning of the last days. It is good to be with you. Lots of fun this last weekend. I was out there with Christine Anderson, and she is fantastic. This is a woman from the EU. She's from Germany, and she understands sort of tyranny. And she has called our prime minister out repeatedly, so I absolutely loved it. I had people watching from the Netherlands, people saying hi from Australia on the video that we did, thousands of viewers, absolutely wonderful. And a little bit of drama was in there too, and I'm going to be covering that in a future broadcast, all of it. So, all is well, everyone, all is well. You know that I like to read from my father's Bible because after he passed away, this became really precious to me. I didn't know that my dad, I always saw the Bible sitting right beside his chair, but I didn't know that he was underlying it from stem to stern. I didn't, and I'd see him reading it, and especially, before his eyes got a little bit worse. And then I'd put on Bible Gateway and I would play that out loud for him. He used to absolutely love it. So I opened the word today and kind of it just fell to this page. Proverbs 29, verse 18. It says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." How important is it for us to have a vision? Maybe a vision of hope that we're going to get through this, a vision of a plan of how we can take action at this time. And then it says this, "But he that keeps the law, happy is he." I think it's important to keep the laws that you're supposed to keep. You know, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. I don't think it's actually illegal to do that, but it's not a good idea. If you keep the law, especially the laws of God, you are happy. If you follow divinations and these other things, gets you into some trouble there, But I appreciate my dad because he definitely believed in following the laws of God. He was a good man. I like to keep myself free from doing things that are wrong. We've been accused of a lot, right? This last few years, 3 years basically of tyranny. We've been accused of being wrong. Like I've got these court cases in Saskatchewan for not wearing a mask. One was, two were for outdoors, not wearing a mask, gathering with more than 10 people. The other one was being indoors at a gathering and not wearing a mask. So dealing with all of that. So apparently, kind of crazy. If you don't, if you want to go to church during COVID, that was a problem. We see what Pastor Archer Pawlowski, my good friend, Pawlowski, I need to say his name right, is going through. And he is getting his final sentencing in May. And so please continue to pray for him and his family. I want to look at a couple things. My favorite one is Bill Maher on natural immunity. He is blaming the liberal MSM for disturbing bad information to the public. And I just wonder at what point is everyone going to be held responsible for what they did not report on? Take a look.
As I saw in the paper today, kind of a big story, I think. I wonder how much it's going to get covered in the liberal media, because it's about how natural immunity, they did a giant study, 65 countries, or maybe something like 65 countries, many, many different studies. They looked at them all. Natural immunity, as good or better than the vaccine. Something I've been saying since the beginning, and I get called an anti-vaxxer. That's not an anti-vaxxer. This is the kind of thing, my problem with the media from both sides is not that you guys lie. It's that you tell me your side of the story that you want me to know. You don't tell me the whole story. I'd be curious as to how much play this story gets, because I remember reading that they did a study of Republicans versus Democrats. The question was, what percentage, this is like a year and a half ago, what percentage of people who get COVID require hospitalization? The answer is less than 1%. Almost half of Democrats thought it was over 50%. They listened to your network. Where do they get that kind of information?
That was to you. That was clear.
Okay, that's bad information they have in their head, and it's from one.
People like Bill Maher being so courageous as to really talk about this, he is politically incorrect. And I like that about him. I don't always agree with everything he says. So I think it's all coming out. We've got some tweets going up today from some folks we've been interviewing that have extreme credentials, medical credentials, that have let them know the truth about all of that. So the Postmillennial, a Canadian woman in Ontario who has gone back to living as a woman, is suing the healthcare providers who allegedly, what, you don't have that? Oh, okay. So, well, it would be good. Do you know what, JT? Let me help you out there, bud, because I got it. All right, put it up here. There we go. You got my share? Woman who lost breasts, uterus to sex change sues doctors, mental health providers who facilitated her transition. The defendants permitted Michelle to self-diagnose as transgender and prescribe her own treatment without providing a differential diagnosis or proposing alternative treatments, reads the claim filed in Ontario. You know this is going to happen, and you know this is going to begin happening actually more and more and more. I think that the outcomes are not good, and that's why many doctors have left Tavistock. The Tavistock clinic actually shut down in the UK because the outcomes were so terrible and they had to go to a different method. You can see this is coming because people are being allowed to just say, I'm transgender, I want to remove my breasts. Oh, I want my, for a dude, his privates to be changed into a vagina looking thing, which apparently never works very well. And also they lose all of their sexual, feelings and ability. I don't know what kind of person thinks this is a good idea, and I don't know what kind of doctor thinks, oh, this is a good outcome. Let's make your sexual organs never be able to work for the rest of your life. Yeah, let's operate on it and make you completely dysfunctional. So what's happening in light of all of that is that people are saying too much. You gave me all of this help and you did not give me the other side, and now we're suing you. I love it. Now, this is not helping. The Church of England Council is considering the use of other gender pronouns for God rather than strictly male pronouns. So you have to understand the Church of England has really, they've gone off. I don't know what's happened to churches in general, not standing up for the truth, not being willing to say that men are men and God made men and women, and that's it. God made two different sexes. Instead, they're, wanting to be, all woke and everything. And we're seeing that in our churches, in Toronto having transgenders come in to read to the kids. So you've lost your ever-loving minds. You're all completely inept. I would say that you're promoting pedophilia because it's well known that this is where we're going, the sexualization of children. And for the church now to actually be allowing that, well, God help y'all. That's all I have to say. So I want to get to our guest today. Before we do, I'm going to have to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube just to respect their parameters. And Leigh Dundas is joining me. She, if you have watched the show for a long time, you have seen her clips. And she is a hero to me because the woman can really roar. She roars like a lioness that she is. And she is, I'm just going to read this off. JT, you're putting the link to where people can follow us in the description, only in the YouTube, on the Facebook. Go to Rumble, rumble.com, find Laura-Lynn Tyler Thompson. You've all been there, I hope, before, because whenever I'm not on these platforms, I'm over there. And thousands of people are watching me on Rumble. So that's probably the best place to make sure you catch every day so that we can talk about all this stuff. Before we let you go, JT, let me just read. Leigh Dundas is a human rights attorney and abolitionist dedicated to preserving basic freedoms while also combating global injustices like child slavery and the peddling of medical tyranny disguised as progress. Leigh's career spans 3 decades, commencing with her representation of Fortune 500 companies in high-dollar courtroom battles, and now she works for the common man on the streets. I'll just say hi to her, and then we'll let everybody go. Head to Rumble. Hello, Leigh Dundas. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today.
My dear, it's an honor to be here amongst fellow equally fired up, citizens around the world who want to actually keep our